I've always thought we had a strong relationship. My partner F32, who I'll call Emma, and I, a 35-year-old software engineer, have been together for nearly 7 years. We've built a life together, bought a small house just outside the city, adopted a dog, and regularly planned weekend getaways to escape the daily grind. We had what seemed like a routine relationship. But recently, I noticed subtle changes in her behavior that I couldn't explain away. It started with little things, like her staying late at work more often than usual. She would mention important projects or say she had to attend after-hours meetings. At first, I didn't think much of it. She's ambitious and driven, qualities I've always admired about her. But then, things shifted in ways that made me uncomfortable. Emma started being more protective of her phone. Whenever I walked into the room, she'd quickly lock the screen, or if I happened to glance over, she'd put it face down. There was an unease in her posture when I asked casual questions about her day, almost like she was holding something back. These little changes left me with a nagging feeling that something wasn't right. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was overreacting, but I kept telling myself that it was probably nothing. But a part of me couldn't help but wonder, was she hiding something from me, or was I just being paranoid? It wasn't long before the first real sign hit me like a punch in the gut. One evening, I was cleaning up the living room when I found something strange under the couch, an unfamiliar business card. It was for a high-end restaurant, a place Emma and I had never visited together. I turned the card over and noticed a handwritten note. "Can't wait to see you again, E." My stomach dropped. I had never seen this card before, and I certainly didn't know anyone who would leave Emma a note like that. My mind raced with possibilities, but I didn't confront her right away. I needed to understand more before jumping to conclusions. Was this note even meant for her? And who was E? A few days passed, and I couldn't stop thinking about the business card. My anxiety grew, and I started paying more attention to Emma's behavior. I noticed she had become more distant, not just with her phone, but in conversations as well. She seemed distracted, her thoughts elsewhere, and when I'd ask her what was on her mind, she would brush me off with a quick, "just work stuff." Then, something happened that escalated everything. One night, while Emma was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the table. I hesitated, but eventually glanced at the screen. It was a text message from someone named Lena, a name I didn't recognize. The message read, "Meet me tomorrow at 7, same place?" My heart pounded in my chest. I knew I shouldn't snoop, but I couldn't stop myself from checking her recent messages with this person. What I saw left me frozen. Their conversations were casual but familiar, filled with jokes and plans to meet up. None of it seemed overtly romantic, but something about the way they talked didn't sit right with me. It was clear that this wasn't a new relationship. I felt like I was sinking. How long had this been going on? And who exactly was Lena? I wanted to believe that maybe this was an innocent friendship, but the secrecy made it impossible to dismiss my suspicions. Just when I thought I might be able to gather more information and figure out how to approach Emma, the situation took an unexpected twist. I was scrolling through my email late one night when I noticed a strange charge on our joint bank account. It was for a substantial amount at the same high-end restaurant I'd seen on the business card. The charge wasn't for a work dinner, as Emma had mentioned previously, but for a private event. I felt my chest tighten. It wasn't the money. It was the fact that she had lied about it. When I confronted Emma about the charge, she seemed caught off guard, but quickly regained her composure. "Oh, that was for a work thing," she said dismissively, her tone clipped and defensive. Something wasn't adding up. I asked her who else was there, and she stumbled over her words. "Just a few colleagues," she said, but I knew she was lying. I could see it in her eyes, the slight tremble in her voice. The person I trusted most in the world was hiding something significant, and it wasn't just a work dinner. Finally, I couldn't take it any longer. I confronted her directly one evening after dinner. "Emma, what's really going on? Who is Lena, and why are you being so secretive?" For a moment, she said nothing. Her face paled, and her eyes darted away, avoiding mine. Then, after what felt like an eternity, she sighed and sat down heavily on the couch. I didn't want to tell you because I was embarrassed, she began. Lena isn't a friend from work. She's my therapist. I blinked, completely caught off guard. Therapist? Why didn't you tell me? She hesitated, clearly uncomfortable. I've been going through a lot lately, feeling lost about my career, about us, about everything. I didn't want to burden you with it. I sat there, absorbing her words. The secrecy, the late nights, the lies, they all stemmed from her fear of opening up to me, not from an affair. I felt a rush of relief, but it was quickly tempered by the realization that we were far more disconnected than I had ever imagined. In the end, we had a long conversation about everything: her therapy, her feelings of confusion, and how we'd been drifting apart. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I had to confront my own role in our communication breakdown as well. Emma promised to stop hiding things from me, and I vowed to be more open and supportive. We both recognized that this wouldn't be an easy fix, but we were willing to try. Still, part of me wonders, did I overreact, or was my gut feeling justified all along? Has anyone else been in a situation like this? I could really use some advice on how to rebuild that trust. TLDR, after noticing my partner acting secretive and finding suspicious clues, I confronted her, only to discover that she had been secretly seeing a therapist. We are now working on our communication, but the trust feels fractured, and I'm unsure how to move forward.